for question marks.
Is he going to be too tall for?
Is Joe Brunner too tall of an offensive lineman for a 6'2" quarterback in Josh Hoover? It's probably
That's where we're at.
That's where we're at.
Let's talk. This show, Brad, is titled "Indiana Football Catches Fire on the Trail," and obviously, me and you spent a large chunk of time, about a month and change ago, I guess, trying to quell some of the worry in the fan base from people who were not quite pleased with the momentum on the trail Indiana was showing. Now, if you look at where the class of 2027 sits, especially after a day like today, or the last 24 hours, the last 48 hours, or even the last 7 days, I think this looks a lot more like what people were expecting the class of 2027 to look like. And so before we jump into some of the specifics about how the last week went, what is your general attitude towards the class of 2027 as we start to break down what happened the last week?
I think coming off a national title season, I think we'd have liked to have seen a higher blue chip ratio. I think that's something we would have liked to have seen. However, given the new context, given out the Rich Eisen show, very obvious that they're still sticking to their guns and taking in guys that truly just want to be there. And they're not going to give in to any, greedy agents that, at the end of the day, like, these agents are going to do the kids a disservice. Like, I don't think, and it's gonna come back to bite them in the sense where they are going to have to do something about it, because obviously I believe in the free market and things like that, but to miss out on a great opportunity for you to fit inside a program because of money, I think is a foolish way of going about it. It seems like a lot of these recruitments are very money oriented, which is fine. Like, go get your bag, right? But I think it in the long run might do someone a disservice. Now, as someone who's an adult, I know in the long run, money really helps. It really does, and you should take that money. But if we have goals of going to the NFL and things like that, like, it's just important that, you make the right decision, for you and your fit. And they're not going to give in to agents, and they're going to continue to stick to their guns. I saw a funny ass comment today. 3-star, like, we got Kane Brackney, and I saw a 3-star U. I love it. Absolutely love it. Like, we should lean into that.
We upgraded.
Like, they're trying to lean to like, they're trying to use it as a knock, but it's like, yeah, we're able to win with 3 stars. Like, yeah, you can. Yeah, better hope we don't get any 4 stars. Like, we usually do through the portal anyways, it seems like these days.
It's like, what do you think is going to happen when the talent gets even slightly better than it was?
Yeah.
Like, the talent has taken us, even if it has been a minuscule step up, it's gotten quote unquote better in the eyes of the people who are saying these things.
Yeah, and that's what I'd say.
Still don't understand how to evaluate.
It's minuscule. Like, we're not like our blue. Like I said, we only have about like 4 or 5 blue chips.
And caveat being, only one person on this podcast believes in blue chip ratio, and it's not me.
I don't believe in it. I'm tracking it to make a point that it actually doesn't matter. Like, we literally just won the Natty with 7 blue chip guys out of 85. It's not required. Now, increasing that, in theory, we'd get better, right? And be able to create sustainable program building. But if they believe they can do it with, the guys that are able to find on tape that are really solid 3 stars, and there's plenty. Like, if you're a top 1,000 recruit, like, you're solid. Like, you're talented. You're killing it in the high school game. You're playing really well. Obviously, 5 stars are different, right? Like, you want your Monshon Sales, you want your Landon Williams Kalises, right? And great comment. But yeah, I think we would have liked to see it higher just for the excitement, but I think at the end of the day, they got their guys. And I think the main point is, I think we're trying to anticipate what they're going to necessarily do, considering where the scholarship count's at for 27. I believe we're at about 76 spots filled with all the commitments that we have, and guys that have eligibility to return next year. So that leaves only about 9 spots for us to go portaling, which makes a ton of sense. I think anticipating, like, we could have filled those spots with some high school guys, like, it still would have kept us under the 25 scholarship threshold for a freshman class. Would have been fine there. and would have been fun to kind of do it that way. But I think that if we know one thing that I maybe forgot about that theory was that this program loves to win. And I think they are going to attack the portal pretty heavy going into 2027. And they're going to make sure they have enough seniors on this team to continue winning. And I think that's going to be something that they take advantage. So I think they were pretty selective with like who they're taking and things like that. Obviously, if they can make it work, they would have taken maybe some other people, but I think they're very satisfied with their class. And I think they were going into it with the mindset where it's like we could go small because we are low on seniors going into 2027 and probably going to need some guys through the portal to fill in some of those spots. So not necessarily a full unit, but still a transition year where a lot of these guys that have been developing within the program will be asked to step into big roles, and can't wait to cover going into that year.
But I think you hit the nail on the head where it's like they're looking at it going, who are we going to give a large sum of money to? Because it's not like Indiana doesn't have a large sum of money. It's, are we going to give it to somebody who isn't going to be able to step on the football field for at least a year? And then if all things go perfectly well, he's probably just a rotation guy for the first year. Or you take potentially half to a quarter of that and give it to somebody less known who's going to be more productive, potentially even start at a position of value for you next year. And then you can still build that relationship and then potentially get that other player in the portal down the line. Yeah. How do you argue with any of the way they're doing it, especially given the fact they're not burning bridges with the majority of these recruits? And some of the guys that like they had into the program and then decommitted and the relationship got sour, like that shit happens, right? But like for a large majority of these recruitments, even if it is like money based where it's like, okay, we're not comfortable paying that price right now, people kind of understand what the market is. And if, you know, there's suitors that are willing to pay certain prices, and there are guys that are understand that their value comes in other places, and Indiana is one of those places. So to your point, Brad, if you want to be here, you'll be here. If you don't want to be here, you won't be here. And most of the time it's no hard feelings. Like, we're just going to find the guys who want to win and we'll win. But yeah, I don't think it's like Indiana doesn't have any money, because one of the biggest uncommitted pieces in the class of 2027, Montrezl Sales, just had his visit to Texas this past weekend. And if it went really well for Texas, you'd be hearing a lot of really, I guess, scary things for Indiana Hoosier fans coming out of that visit that you're not hearing, at least not yet. And so presumably Texas, who a large majority of people following that recruitment closely were most scared of, even more so than Alabama, given how much money Texas could potentially throw at recruits. I still think the class of 27 even grows and could potentially get better, but I think we're in a really good spot, and we're just not going to spend money on guys that aren't going to impact the team immediately. And so blue chip ratio be damned. I think you're going to see a lot of what we were able to do this past week and get guys that they were on for a really long time. That starts with Jalathan Mayfield.